dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life feels lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds. And when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Welcome to Rockingham, North Carolina, and round number 9 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Chapasso up in the booth with you for this one. Who is strong enough to break the rock? One of the most underutilized tracks in the entirety of the iRacing server. We come to the just shy of 1 mile Rockingham International Speedway. Been off the NASCAR schedule for quite a while now, close to 20 years. And you can see in the background there all the pit road across the road from the main grandstand. There is a drag strip here that iRacing truly needs to implement as a raceable surface for iRacing. And if you look outside the backstretch, there's a short track there as well that, again, I think iRacing should try to implement as part of a usable course here. But we are on the big oval tonight, and I say big-ish. Weather conditions are a little bit scary. 79-degree ambient air temperature, 54-degree relative humidity, which means these engines are going to be making gobs of horsepower. Partly cloudy skies, 2-mile-an-hour winds, but if you take a look at the bottom of your screen at track temperature, 131 degrees. which means this track is going to be hot, it's going to be greasy, and with these trucks making as much horsepower as they're going to be making tonight, getting a hold of this track surface is going to be something that is going to definitely be mildly difficult. Let's take a quick look at the point standings coming into tonight, shall we? As big shocker, Ryan Twinham, currently a full race to the good. 341 points. He could sit out the next two races and still have the points lead. Larry Stubblefield, though, clawing his way up the ranks right now. Tom Richter sitting in third, Shane Calhoun, Jeremy Morrison. We've got a tie for sixth with Greg Barnett and Fred Garcia, two of the nicest guys in the league, absolutely deadlocked at 243 points. We've got another deadlock down there at 10th with Abram Ghostin and Jamie LaRoque, again, two of the nicest guys in this league, as we get ready to turn these folks loose for it's going to be a fun one, that's for sure. As I just need to get myself set up properly here. There we go. But again, one of the most underutilized tracks here in the entirety of the iRacing server, Rockingham, North Carolina, as we're going to go on board with a man who has been our in-race reporter numerous times. This is what Joey Stiders is seeing. And unlike the plate tracks, that yellow stripe is not out of bounds. As the hot lap session going to come to an end here, as I completely forgot to update my trading paints. About 5 seconds left as we go back up to our blimp cam. Beautiful facility here in picturesque Rockingham, North Carolina, I might add. As, that's going to do it for the qualifying session. As we click on, the hot lap session, as we click on over to qualifying. 5 minutes on the clock. Who's going to be the first one to pull the trigger? Big shocker. It's Dominic Rossi. Relatively short field here tonight. But I think it's the perfect number for this facility. Greg Barnett rolling it. There he is in the POW MIA number 38 Ford F-150. James Nelson also rolling it out on track. There he is in the Crutchfield Racing number 7. Shane Calhoun coming off of pit road now. Well, let's take a look at Rossi's lap. Goes purple. Of course, he's the first one to lay a time down. So this is going to be the benchmark, if you will. 2481. Let's see if his second lap's going to improve any. Greg Barnett goes quickest in the first sector. Quickest in the second sector as well. 24:56 for the season 12 champion. And gets it completely wrong coming through turn 2. James Nelson jumps up to second quick. Stubblefield now jumps up to second quick. There he is in the Night Owl number 82. Dyslexics of the world untie. Nobody's been able to touch Barnett, though, as Trevor Ryan on a pass right now. Quickest in the first sector, quickest in the second sector. Ryan to the top of the heat. 24:35. Good frickin' grief. Your points leader, that's a giant flex. Chris Smith out on track in the Mobile 1, number 14 Toyota. As he goes 6 quick on his first lap. Let's see what the second lap's going to give him. Lane Hosler making the call tonight. Abram Gostin out on track. Jordan Brockwell making his debut. Joey Steyer's back with us. Fred Garcia, Kyle Payne, and Ryan Twinham, and Justin Carey back. All of those drivers still needing to post a time. As Smith not going to improve on the second lap. 2 minutes left. Still plenty of time to get those laps in. $17 haulers, make that 18 haulers in the infield. So that's a pretty decent sized field here for the Rock. I wouldn't want to see too many more trucks out on track because, I mean, yes, we all like to see big fields, but that just leads to problems. There's Joey Steyer's rolling it now. In the OSF Healthcare Chevy Silverado. Fastest in practice. Let's see what he can do in qualifying. A little slipping and sliding. He's going to abort this lap. Did not like the way it felt coming off of 4. Did not cross the start-finish line. And he's got time to lay at least one flyer down. He might be able to squeeze both of them in if he hustles it. Abram Gostin out on track as well. We're going to follow along with the OSF Healthcare Chevy Silverado of Joey Steyer's. First sector, so far so good. This is probably not going to be a pole run, but he's going to have enough time to get the second flyer in, it looks like. Steyer's to the top of the pile. Holy crap. What a second half of the lap. And Abram Gostin jumps up to third quick. Justin Carey goes 10th quick as the timer on qualifying runs out. Steyer's doing a little bit of celebrating there with pole position. Nicely done, sir. As we now bring our starting grid up, Joey Steyer's for Rev Racing sets quick time 24.339, 12 1,000ths to the good over Trevor Ryan. Abram Gostin's going to start in the double deuce in position number 3. He's going to be joined in row number 2 with the Larry Stubblefield, your second in points. Greg Barnett, your season 12 champion, is going to start in row number 3 inside of Brian Toole. Tom Richter and Chris Smith making up row number 4. Dominic Rossi and Justin Carey make up row number 5. James Nelson and Shane Calhoun are going to roll it off from row number 6. Row 7 is going to give us Tommy Osborne, who is the last truck to lay a time in qualifying. Everyone else is going to be lined up via their iRating. That puts Kyle Payne on the outside of row number 7. Row number 8, Jordan Brockwell is going to be joined with Fred Garcia. And row number 9 is going to give us Lane Hosler and Ryan Twinham. 18 trucks scheduled to do it here tonight. As we've got 120 laps scheduled to roll it. We're just waiting on Trevor Ryan, Fred Garcia, Lane Hosler, and Ryan Twinham to grid up. As the timer is rolling. There's Twinham, still waiting on the back half of the field now. $120 laps, 4 sets of tires to get it done with. Let me grab my notes for this race. Again, 4 sets of tires, 70% fuel fill. And they're reminding all the drivers that they have to announce when they are pitting. You can't just dive it down onto pit road because that's how people get run the hell over. As the field starts to roll it behind the official iRacing pace car, Hosler, Garcia, and Twinham all electing to pit start. I don't know if that's such a good idea at The Rock. But we are about to find out here in 120 laps who's going to be strong enough to break The Rock, as this track will bite you. And if you'll notice, they don't have a safer barrier all the way down the backstretch, so you do have a little bit of room coming off of 2. Not so much coming off of 4. As the field worked its way through the 3-4 complex, I believe this is going to be a 2-pace lap event. Yes, it is. We are under 1 mile, so pace car is going to do a second. No, it's not. Pace car is in. It's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, pop the popcorn because it's time to get it on in North Carolina. Race fans, it's showtime! Showtime indeed, as these guys are hauling it down the back straightaway. Steyer's jumping out to an early lead. And everybody minding their P's and Q's here early. Is Steyer's, Ryan, Ghostin, Stubblefield, Barnett, Richter, Toole, Smith, Rossi, and Carey, your top 10, as we currently sit. Everybody getting single filed out. We've got some action back there around Smith and Rossi. Rossi working around Smith. That's going to open the door for Carey. That second lane already paying dividends. You can carry so much more momentum here. This track was progressively banked before progressive banking was cool. Race pace, not that much different than qualifying. Stubblefield sets quick time so far, 24.78. That would have been good enough for where he had qualified earlier, as we've got some good pressure going on up here between Stubblefield, Barnett, and Richter as they run stem to stern right now. Oh, what just happened to Carey? He got sideways coming off of 2. Here comes Osborne to the inside of Smith. Smith taking the upper lane to defend against that Ford F-150 of Osborne. And they are starting to pull a gap on Shane Calhoun behind them. As Ryan making a bid for the lead to the inside of Steyer's. Steyer's trying to defend on the top shelf. He's going to let Ryan have a little bit, but he's going to cut off Abram Ghostin. Ryan, your new leader, as all-important bonus point for your points leader, and he is starting to step out right now, as now Ghostin looks to the inside of Steyer's, coming off of 4. It's going to open the door for Stubblefield as well. Richter right there to try to follow him through. Steyer's knows this is a long race. He's letting these guys go. He's letting them burn their tires off. Now Greg Barnett's Ford F-150 going to be the next one in line. Barnett, again, a smart driver, knows not to overdrive it right now in the early going. So Ryan, Ghostin, Stubblefield, Richter, Steyer's your top 5. Barnett, Toole, Rossi, Carey, and Nelson, your top 10. Everybody minding their P's and Q's, but you can throw a blanket basically over your top 9. Well, pretty much you can throw a blanket over them, but a little bit of a gap back from Toole. But there you see Toole, Rossi, and Carey as They're not overdriving their equipment right now. Nelson almost a full second back as we've got a battle between Osborne and Smith. Smith going to let Osborne go as he stumbled there a little bit on that top shelf. As here comes Kyle Payne on the 11 of Shane Calhoun. Payne on the top shelf, Calhoun on the low one. Oh, hang on to her. Crossover move by Payne. Looks to the inside of Calhoun now. Calhoun now in the Enterprise. Chevy Silverado up on the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. Able to hold off Payne. So far, so good. A little bit of separation towards the front of this piece. And Steyer's starting to put some pressure on Richter now. Neither one of them really overdriving it. Barnett right there in the mix. Stubblefield and Ghostin starting to heat things up in front of them for second. Working lap 12 of 120. We're a tenth of the way through this piece. Want to thank everybody for joining us in the live chat. If you haven't done so already, let us know who you're pulling for. Sarah Stubblefield, easy guess who you're pulling for. Tommy Stuff, I know exactly who you're pulling for. That is your son driving that POW MIA Ford F-150 as Stubblefield up to second. There is Stubblefield in the 82. Steyer's and Richter starting to heat things up. Barnett sideways off a 2. Gets it collected. Here comes Steyer's to the inside of Richter. Richter on the top shelf. Steyer's on the low shelf. Still door to door. Richter and Steyer's slugging it out for 4th and 5th. Abram Ghostin starting to fall back to these guys. He may have gone a little too hard, a little too soon. Steyer's using a little bit of the apron to help turn that truck and get it to rotate corners from the center of the corner off. And you can see just how bumpy this surface is. And again, you know, this track was progressively banked before progressive banking became the cool thing. And, you know, these guys that are running that second lane are really making it happen as Justin Carey works on Dominic Ross, and he's looking to bring James Nelson up with him. Carey gets the clear. Nelson now working on Rossi. This is your battle for ninth. These three trucks are tied together. As Brian Toole has caught Greg Barnett as well. Checking in with Jordan Brockwell as he's now working on Shane Calhoun. Calhoun continuing to struggle. Brockwell, we haven't seen too much of him this season. But that Toyota looks like it's starting to come into its own. Checking back in with Rossi and Carey. Sorry, Rossi and Nelson. They get a little bit of separation. As Richter and Steyer still going after each other. Abram Ghostin right there as well in third. So this is becoming your battle for third place. A three-truck shootout, if you will. As here comes Richter to the inside of Ghostin. Ghostin moves up to the top shelf. Gives plenty of room. He knows he doesn't have anything. It's now Steyer's going to look to the inside. Not going to let it happen. Richter cuts him off. Steyer's going to file back in. These two guys slugging it out for third. Abram Ghostin starting to fall off just a little bit. But good grief. Katie barred the doors. These two guys are starting to go after each other like two kids in the back of a minivan at summer break. Would you two kids stop fighting? I'm going to turn this truck around and we'll go home. No, Dad, you're not fooling anybody. You want to go to Dollywood just like the rest of us. Stiers looks to the inside one more time. Pulls along to the door. Here comes Richter on the outside. He's going to get the better run. Drag race down Thunder Alley. And across the street is the House of Hook. As Stiers throws the slide job through 3 and 4, Richter's going to cross him over coming to the stripe. Stiers now on the top shelf. Going to send it going into one. Stiers didn't punish his tires as much as Richter in the early going. As we're going to check in with a battle between Barnett and Toole, as Toole has caught Barnett. And now looks to the inside. Toyota on Ford action here for 6th and 7th place. And Barnett blows the entry into turn number 1. Completely cheese graters the right side of that Ford. Pancaked it. That is not what he was hoping to do this early. Working lap 25 of 160. Checking back in with Chris Smith and Dominic Rossi. This is your battle for the final spot in the top 10. As Smith seems to have a little bit more grip middle of the corner. Rossi, though, running that a little bit higher line. About a truck width and a half off that yellow stripe. Late apex, good entry. Coming off the corner, Rossi able to maintain the final step of the top 10. As we're going to check back in up towards the front here, that's Justin Carey. As he is slugging it out with James Nelson. And Abram Gaston and Brian Toole. Abram Ghostin, Brian Toole running stem to stern now. Toole back even with the board of where he started. Ghostin's dropped now 3 spots. As he's going to let Toole go by. He knows he doesn't have the rubber under that truck. And this is a track that is known to just destroy right front tires. So these guys are using this first green flag run to kind of learn what they've got to do in the second one. As now Nelson all over the tailgate of Carey. Blows the entry to the corner of 1. That's going to let Carey give it a little bit of breathing room coming off the corner. A little bit of separation now. In case you're wondering, there is Trevor Ryan, and that is Shane Calhoun going to the high side to get out of the way of the leader. That is 15th. He's already caught the tail end of the field. Stubblefield is almost 2 seconds back, and he is being reeled in by your pole sitter, Joey Stiers, here as we're turning lap 30 of 120, so just about a quarter of the way through this piece. We're expecting pit stops somewhere around lap 45 to 50. As Richter now starts to reel Stiers in as well. This is becoming a 3-horse race for second pretty quick. Remember what I said about Nelson earlier? Well, guess what? He's finally caught Carey again. But we're going back to Stiers and Richter. Richter now plasters the tailgate of Stiers. And Stiers just has to run his own race and he should be okay. As we finally see Lane Hosler and Fred Garcia make their appearance out on track. There is Hosler, the Hosler Fencing and Construction, your defending series champion in only his second or third start of the season. Fred Garcia, the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer, having connection issues. Well, that explains why Garcia didn't make the green. As Ryan Twinham still on pit road. Checking back in with this battle for second. Stiers looking to the inside of Stubblefield. Coming off of 2. Coming off of 4. Now looks to the inside through 2. Stubblefield goes high. Stiers on the low shelf. Has a little bit more tire. Gets the nose out front. And he's going to bring Richter with him. As Stubblefield just caught up on that high side. Could not get down. So now it's Trevor Ryan, Joey Stiers, Tom Richter, Larry Stubblefield. And Brian Toole rounding out your top 5 as we work a lap 35 of 120. We're going to stay with this battle for second as this is a 3-horse race. Four Chevys at the front of this piece. Then you've got the Toyota of Brian Toole, the Chevy of Abram Ghostin. The highest running blue oval is going to be Greg Barnett back in 7th. And then rounding out your top 10, you got the Chevy of Nelson, the Chevy of Rossi, and the Toyota of Chris Smith. As we are still following this battle for second, as Richter has not let up his pressure on Joey Stiers one iota since they have caught each other. Meanwhile, Trevor Ryan is checked out to the point of 2.5 seconds. As Ryan starting to give some back. Stiers and Richter, as much as they're pressuring each other, they're starting to claw back time on Trevor Ryan. And that's the problem when you're the race leader. You don't have anybody to pace off of to know if you're going too hard. And that might be the situation, as what was 2.5 seconds is now down to 2.25 in just a couple of laps. Matter of fact, you can see Ryan there in the shot as they went into turn 1. Now Stubblefield starting to fall off. Stubblefield goes to the pits. So green flag pit stop starting on lap 40. Greg Barnett, James Nelson, and Tommy Osborne all on pit road along with these guys. And Trevor Ryan goes pit side. Tom Richter goes pit side. Joey Stiers stays out. He's got to pit in the next lap or two to cut off the undercut. When we're looking at about a 2.5 second fall off, Stiers is going to stay out another lap. Abram Ghostin, he is going to bring it down pit side this time. Looks like Jordan Brockwell's going to stay out. But there's the trucks that are on the fresh shoes. Stiers, he's got to stop the hemorrhaging. He's got to come pit side within the next lap or two. I know he's doing what I would be doing and hoping for a caution, but I don't think he's going to get one, so he's got to come pit side this time because those guys on fresh tires are already into the 24s. A full 2 seconds faster than anything Stiers is doing. Larry Dale. Love it. Love it. This Trevor Ryan just got one of his laps back the hard way. Wow, Trevor Ryan popped for speeding on. As there goes the 42 of Dominic Rossi to get one of his laps back. Stiers has to go to the pits soon. I know you can hang it out there to make this a one-stop race, but you've got to consider the fact that those trucks around you are already back in the 24s. Brian Toole just set his fastest lap of the race with a 24.91. And you take a look at everybody that was down pit road, they have all just put them in the 24s last time by. Stiers starting to struggle. As there goes the 2 of Osborne to get one of his laps back. Stiers has to get to the pits soon. And by soon, I mean about 5 laps ago. So here comes the 14 of Chris Smith. Stiers gives plenty of room. Not able to get to the pits this time. Joey, you're killing me. He is starting to struggle too, as he was 26.75, a full 2 seconds off of his quick lap, and it looks like he's finally able to come pit side this time by. The only problem is, how quick can he get on and off a pit road without speeding? He gets it woed down to the 45 mile an hour speed limit. Tom Richter back on the lead lap. Stubblefield back on the lead lap. Carey, Barnett, Nelson, Toole, Ghostin, now Rossi back on the lead lap as Stiers finally hits his pit box. Right sides go up. Left side's getting ready to go on as Richter, now your race leader, as Trevor Ryan threw it away. 56 seconds in his box. That's pop for speeding onto pit road. As we've got a battle starting to heat up now between Greg Barnett and James Nelson. Battle for fourth. Barnett in the PWMA Chevy. James Nelson in the Crutchfield Racing number 7. They've got what's soon to be the last truck of Jordan Brockwell right in front of them. As now Nelson gets by Barnett on the top shelf. Makes that one stick. Barnett gonna have to reel him in. There's some battling going on in front of these guys. As that was Shane Calhoun getting passed up. He is struggling here tonight. Kyle Payne there as well. This is your battle for 12th currently. As Brockwell going to get the run on the 68. Here comes the 7 of Nelson, who's in 4th place. As the 68 of Payne gets up and out of the way. Jordan Brockwell's truck seems to have come alive since that pit stop. Now, he is on the fresh tires. So, yes, everybody feels like Superman. The question is, how hard is he going? Is he overdriving that truck right now? And time will tell. And you know what I just noticed? Tommy Osborne has yet to come down pit road. He is trying to make this a one-stop race. And it looks like he might be coming pit side this time. Nope. Gonna stay out. What do I know? So here comes Toole and Stiers. Stiers comes out in 7th. Now starts to work on the backside of Toole. Stiers is going to have yeoman's work to try to get back to the front of this thing, as he's got some heavy hitters in front of him. That Caterpillar 99 of Brian Toole has been strong all season. Here comes Stiers to the inside, though. Stiers, one of the few tracks I don't think he has won at. Let me double check that little factoid, as this is the first time we have been here. So this is one of the only tracks Joey Stiers has not won at yet. Stiers has now gotten by Toole and Barnett. Made it look that easy. Now he's trying to reel in James Nelson, who's 3/4 of a second up the road. But you got big separation at the front of this piece. You've got Tom Richter, who's a 1.5 seconds over Larry Stubblefield, who is 9 seconds over that man, Justin Carey. And then you're another 2.5 seconds back to James Nelson, who is starting to fight with both Joey Stiers and Brian Toole. I'm sorry, just Joey Stiers. Is Toole and Barnett starting to heat things up. Stiers now sets his sights on trying to reel in Carey. 24.95 the last time by. Let's take a look at Nelson. There is the Crutchfield Racing number 7. Let's check in with Greg Barnett. There he is. As that was Trevor Ryan to get his lap back on the Lyman, South Carolina native. So just across the border from the Rock. So we can technically call this a home race for him. Oi! Jordan Brockwell, all sorts of sideways coming off a 2. That answered that question. Is he driving that truck a little too hard? Yes, he is. Checking in with our defending series champion, Lane Hosler. After having connection issues, currently working lap 26, soon to be working lap 27. He is that far off the pace, only about 40 laps down. Call it 35. Justin Carey and James Nelson starting to get hot and heavy now. Nelson on the low side is going to slot back in. Carey using that upper lane. About a car width and a half, or truck width and a half off that yellow line. But here comes Nelson on the top side. Carey going to throw the block. Nelson going to cross him over. Side by side going into 1. That's Carey on the top shelf, and Toole's going to follow Nelson through. And here comes Trevor Ryan still trying to get his lap back the hard way. And checking in with your points leader, the pride of Irwin, Pennsylvania. Picking him up and laying him down right now. But after this set of green flag pit stops, we're going to step away, pay a couple bills. We'll be back right after this. And we are back at the Rock for round number 9 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series. We're currently working lap 78 of Currently working lap 79 of 120 as we were watching some pretty decent battles there. But right now, though, this field is currently more strung out than a methadone clinic. It's Tom Richter, 2.5 seconds to the good over that man in the 34. As Richter's coming pit side. And Stubblefield's going to follow him in. Oh boy. That hands the lead of the race back over to Joey Stiers. Stiers has to get back on the same pit strategy as the rest of these guys. As now Nelson, Barnett, Rossi all come pit side. And Stiers learned his lesson from that first segment. He comes pit side this time to cut off the undercut. Looks like Brian Toole going to follow him down pit road. Here comes Trevor Ryan as well. Abram Ghostin going to inherit the lead. All important bonus point for the Double Deuce. That Fanatec Chevy has been on point this season. We do need to thank our good friends at the Ringside Report Network, RingsideReport.net, for all of your boxing, Muay Thai, MMA, kickboxing, wrestling, all of your combat sport needs. You need to look no further than the RingsideReport.net, and you can find their podcast on all your favorite streaming services. Ghostin coming down pit road. That's going to hand the lead of the race over to that man in the 21, Justin Carey, as Tom Richter wins the battle off pit road. Stubblefield back up into third as Joey Stiers got by Jordan Brockwell. Brockwell has yet to pit, though, as Justin Carey currently has quick lap of the race with a 24.61 as Barnett brings it pit side. There is Justin Carey, and there is Brian Toole to get his lap back the hard way. Trevor Ryan going to follow him through to get one of his 2 laps back. Carey known to get as much. Oh my goodness, look at the lap Tom Richter just turned. 24.57. 24.568. Good grief. And follows it up with a 24.8. Compare that to Carey. He is reeling Carey in. As a matter of fact, Tom Richter is now your race leader once again. And Carey is losing time. And here comes Dominic Rossi to get his lap back off of Carey. Carey has got to get to the pits. Joey Stiers did this in the first, the green flag pit stop run. He's got to get to the pits. And there goes Abram Ghostin to get his lap back the hard way. Oy vey. That last lap for Carey, 27 with a 5. Compare that to everybody around him. 24-9 for Richter, 24-7 for Stubblefield. Stiers, and here comes Stiers, cranked off a 24-6. And it looks like he's on pace to do the same thing this time. $25 dead. So we're checking in. Richter is a second and a half up the road from that man, Larry Stubblefield, who is just under 5 seconds up the road from that man in third place, Joey Stiers. Justin Carey finally goes to the pits. It's Brian Toole and Jordan Brockwell going after each other, Toyota on Toyota Crime. As Brockwell is another one that needs to get to the pits. He was last down on lap 47, and these guys are passing him like he stopped. Last lap for Brockwell was a 27 even. Compare that with everybody around him. Nelson with a 24-8. And Nelson's reeling him in quickly. As we are going to check in with our defending series champion in one of his rare starts, Lane Hosler. Coach, pass up at the booth. You got a copy on me, sir?
Hey, what's going on?
I was going to ask you the same question. I noticed you've been on pit road for the last 9 minutes, and pit started.
Yeah, I was having a little bit of shifter issue pre-race, and took about 40 laps for me to figure out what was going on.
Well, that's never a good thing, but you did get it figured out, got some laps in. How's it feeling out there?
I will honestly say, me and Joey were talking about this a little bit ago, that I don't know why, but I cannot figure this track out.
Well, I'll give you a hint. Turn 3 is a late apex corner.
I believe that. I just haven't found it yet.
Ideally, you want to be about a truck width and a half off that mustard line. And then maybe cut it down a little bit towards the mustard line, towards corner exit. Kind of square off the exit to get as straight a shot as you can down the front and back chutes.
I tried a little bit of a mix of pretty much everything at this point. I went there early in I say early in my race. I was trying the bottom a little bit, and then tried the middle a little bit, and then tried to kind of egg shape the corner, and that seemed to work pretty well. I was actually able to hold pace with a lot of the leaders, so that felt pretty good. But I just didn't want to get in anybody's way, so decided to pull off, and been kind of spotting for Joey a little bit.
Well, the biggest problem tonight is the fact that the track temperature is 134 freaking degrees.
For me, the biggest problem was more that the truck it feels like it's hitting the ground as it enters the corner.
It is.
Yeah,
if you guys are running the stock iRacing setup for the Rock, the truck will bottom out going into the corner. But you got to remember, this track is progressively banked. It was progressive banking before progressive banking was cool.
Yep.
Ooh, that was a shot by the 68 of Kyle Payne, just going up into the wall as he's letting the leaders go by. But, Lane, it's good to have you back with us always. Any chance we're going to see you back full time anytime soon?
Yes, I think so. I'm going to have to take the Tuesday through Thursday races off here for the next probably month or so. So I think you'll see me on Monday nights more often.
That sounds like a game plan, my friend. It was a damn shame you became the third member of the did not defend their championship club.
Well, coming into the season, I kind of assumed that was going to be the case. I was focusing on quite a bit on a different league, and now that that's wrapped up, I'm kind of working my way back into the trucks a little bit. So
fair enough. Looking forward to seeing you more on track, my friend. We'll let you get back down to spotting for the 23 of Joey Steyer's, currently sitting in third, so not too shabby of a run.
yeah, he's working on some tire saving, see if he can hold on a little bit longer and make up that time. But he wasn't real happy. So
well, the problem is he stayed out so damn long on that first green flag run.
Yeah, if I'd have known what was going on a little bit beforehand, I would have given him a heads up on that. But he likes to do his own thing, so it'll work out for him though.
Well, he's back on pit strategy with the guys that are in front of him, and he is starting to catch Larry Stubblefield. So we'll let you get back down there and spot for him. Best of luck to you guys tonight.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Lane Osler, thank you so much. We'll let you get back. So that was our defending series champion checking in. Good grief. Why do I even look? Tom Richter is checked out 3 3/4 of a second over Stubblefield. And Steyer's just has Dominic Rossi, who's in 7th, in between him and Stubblefield. I don't think Rossi realizes that Steyer's isn't for position. Steyer's still in the 25s. Everybody around him in the 26s, though. Oy! Rossi, all sorts of crossed up. That cost Steyer's some time. And it let Jordan Brockwell get by as well. Brockwell down in 14th. About 5 laps down. But that track temperature, good grief. I would not want to be on pit road for that one, as I used to be a mechanic in the NASCAR Cup garage. And I'll tell you right now, Bristol almost killed me when it was 120. And one of the guys fried an egg on pit road just to show me how hot it was. I can't imagine what 131 would feel like. But Steyer's reeling Stubblefield in. It's now under a second. Steyer's can taste second. Tom Richter continues a blistering pace. Now 4.5 seconds up the road from Stubblefield. 13 laps to go. Stubblefield and Steyer's are going to slug this one out for second place, it looks like. It's Justin Carey and Trevor Ryan mixing it up for 10th. Good recovery drive for Ryan. Make that 9th and 10th. Either way, good recovery drive for the 18 after getting popped for speeding onto pit road under the first set of green flag pit stops. 12 to go, and we go back to this battle for second. And you can see just how big of a bite Steyer's is taking out of Stubblefield each and every lap. Goes to the inside. Steyer's on the low side. Stubblefield on the top shelf where Mama hides the cookies. And Steyer's going to throw the block going into 3. Stubblefield starting to struggle here. Lost his pace. Gave Steyer's plenty of room. Very respectfully. As we check back in with this battle. Stiers continues to pull away. Out to 0.6 of a second so far. But Richter is just setting a blistering pace. Last time by, Richter was almost 26-1. Compare that with Stiers. Stiers still giving up a little bit of time. 8 laps to go. Richter just said, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. And he is now 5.5 seconds over Joey Stiers. There you see the time delta. The last handful of laps. That ladder did come down the last time by, but only by 1/10. 6 seconds is the gap now. With 6 to go. Stiers has to hope for a caution. That's his only shot. As you can't even see him, it's the distance of the back straightaway. Plus a little bit. Richter 26.05 last time by. Stiers 26.05 last time by. 26.2 for Stiers. So gave up another 0.2 there as it's now 6.25 seconds. Now 6.25 seconds. 4 laps to go. Richter just in command of this one. And you got to wonder what would have happened between Richter and Trevor Ryan had Ryan not gone a lap down early and gotten popped for speeding. Currently only 4 trucks on the lead lap. Brian Toole in the 99 being scored in 4th as the last truck on the lead lap. 3 laps to go. Richter just dominating performance here tonight. Most laps led. +6. Biggest mover of the night in the positive direction at +6. Now he's working close to 7 seconds with the popsicle sticks in the air. Good grief. The pride of Allentown, Pennsylvania. White flag in the air. We are racing back to checkers. 7 seconds is the gap for Tom Richter. Joey Stiers sits in second place. He's got about 1.25 seconds breathing room over Larry Stubblefield, who's got 14 seconds over Brian Toole. Checkered flag in the air. Coming across the stripe, Tom Richter, your winner. Joey Stiers coming off of turn 4 just now. Stubblefield right behind him. Stiers for second, Stubblefield for third. Brian Toole, there he is on his last lap. He's going to cross for 4th and final truck on the lead lap. How about that performance from Tom Richter? As we are just waiting for him to get into the let's get that out of the way. Well, we're going to start things off with our second place finishers. We wait for Tom Richter to join us here. Joey Stiers started on pole. If you could do it all over again, would you change your pit strategy for that first green flag run?
100%. I don't know how many more laps I ran in them. It seemed like 10 more laps, and
7.
that was 7. Yeah, that was definitely killer on time. After that first pit cycle, I think I was 16 seconds behind the leader, behind Tom.
I
And
was
for a
begging
while,
for you to come down pit road sooner than you did.
yeah, I know it. Looking back, man, I just hate it. But yeah, being 16 seconds back and just kind of really driving my truck as hard as I could, trying to get back up to him. I was really burning my tires up. And by the end of that second run there, I had burned them up and I got to like maybe 8 seconds. So I got probably half my time back on Tom. But yeah, that last stint, he was just flat out drove me, man. And testament to him. And how about this cleanracing.net series? I mean, going green this entire race here at Rockingham. That's
One
just incredible.
one of the tracks I would have expected at least one caution at. You guys put on a show tonight. And like I mentioned during the pre-race, 18 haulers in the infield, that's about the perfect size field for Rockingham. Yes, everybody wants to see a full field. Everybody likes to, you know, we got 40 trucks to start. Yeah, and it's dumpster fire because you got so many guys crashing in the back.
Yeah,
But
you're absolutely right. Sometimes early in these races, when we get a big field, some guys just try to get as many spots as they can on the restarts, and they're just dive bombing them into the corners. And we really didn't have that this race on the initial start, thankfully, and we kind of got spread out. And luckily, we didn't have too many cars. I don't think pound the wall coming off two like we usually see here at Rockingham. But
well, the problem was going into one for the most part.
oh, was it?
Yeah, everybody was banging that safer barrier. I see no marks on the wall on the exit of two.
That's incredible. I mean, that's prime butter at this place. That got me
Absolutely.
last race here, actually. So
Absolutely. Is Joe, I know you wanted the victory here to put another notch in your belt, but looking forward, we got Kentucky next week. I believe you do have a victory there already. Are you going to be back next week?
we'll see. I got some things going on this summer that I'm kind of working on, but
Fair
I'd love
enough.
to come back next week and see if I can give her another shot for a win. It's been a while in this truck series. I mean, we got so much talent in here each and every week, and
It's the
it's
season
getting harder and
finale.
harder. Season finale, you're right, and we're gonna crown a new champion and hopefully put on a good show for you guys at home.
Absolutely. But who do you need to thank before we let you go?
I'd like to thank my Rev Racing teammate Ryan Twynham. He's not here tonight. He's doing other league mandatory things, so shout out to him watching the race. Lane Hosler for spotting me there at the end of the race. Appreciate that. And Tom, congrats to you on the win, buddy. I mean, these wins are hard to come by in this series for sure. Fred for putting on the league, and Tony, you up in the broadcast booth for putting on these broadcasts for us. I love going back each and every week watching these things, so really appreciate what you do up there.
Well, I appreciate your appreciation, and hopefully we'll see you next week. If not, we'll see you in season 16.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tom. Tony, appreciate it.
That's Joey Stiers, your second place finisher, and joining me now is the man who has it parked in victory lane, well deserved, set that thing on killed tonight, the pride of Allentown, Pennsylvania, Tom Richter. Congratulations.
Tony, how you doing tonight?
How are you doing, my friend? That looked like you put in work.
Yeah.
Biggest mover of the night in the positive direction.
Yeah, we Trevor and I, we definitely did a lot of practice. We did about 100 laps Friday night and probably about 100 laps before the track opened tonight for clean racing. Definitely worked on that a lot. But man, it feels good to finally get the first one here. I feel like I had a couple of slip away earlier in the season, especially last season here at Rockingham when the lights went out.
Absolutely.
But it feels good to finally get that first one.
Well, I mean, you're basically robbed of it last season because the lights, there's no lighting around this place, and nobody realized it. And I kept thinking to myself, wait a second, I don't think this place has lights. and sooner, by about halfway, we were in darkness, so they just negated the race. But you came back this season, you got the dub, but you mentioned your teammate Trevor. What type of words and phrases were being used when he got popped for speeding on the pit road?
So, so I can't use it over here, but we have a soundboard, and he may have played a clip.
There you go.
He was not happy. You know what? He mentioned that he tried to get a little bit more on the entry into his box, but I guess like the juice just wasn't worth the squeeze, and he got popped for speeding and had to hold or had to drive through or whatever that penalty is.
Oh no, it's a hold in your box.
Okay, yeah, well that's must have been what he got, and then
Yeah, you used 50 seconds on pit road, but you hit your marks on both stops, spot perfect. As a matter of fact, you had the fastest pit stop of the night with a 14.43.
dang.
So something to be proud of there. But once you were back out on track, you set quick lap of the race with a 24.57.
Yeah, Trevor, he came over Discord and he was like, "Hey, you just set the fastest lap." As I was in front of, I think it was Larry behind me at that time, and he's like, "You need to back it down." So the next lap, I ran like 4 tenths slower. No, it was just really difficult. Like, especially going through 3 and 4, it felt like you were on a roller coaster every time you went through that corner. Hard to be consistent on such a bumpy track.
That's the one thing about this track is it is very bumpy. I would say it needs a repave, but they haven't used it for anything major in about 10 years. And I think the USRA was the last one to actually put an event on at this facility. But Tom, great run for you tonight. What are your thoughts going into the season finale next week at Kentucky?
Well, I'm excited to get back to the 1.5 miles. Last week we were at Martinsville. We were wherever we were the week before that. Glad to be back on the 1.5 miles. So I think I'll have a decent shot over there. It's a track that we don't really run much anymore now that it's no longer on the circuits. So I'm glad to see Fred and crew put that on the schedule here.
That's the one thing I love about Fred is he's not afraid to use the underutilized tracks. I wouldn't be surprised, and I really wouldn't put it past Fred to do it next season, to put you guys at Irwindale. That would be a fun race for you guys, I
think. Can't be any worse than last week, that's for sure.
Absolutely. But Tom, we're going to take a quick look at the point standings as they currently sit. You just moved into second place over Larry Stubblefield with the victory here tonight. And with all the bonus points you're going to get, Trevor's basically clinched the championship as of tonight. But you just moved into second, and you and Larry Stubblefield are in an absolute slugfest for the final 2 steps of the podium. What are your thoughts as far as, are you going to race it smart next week, or are you going to race it hard?
I think I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing all season. Go out there, take what you can get. You never really know how the races are going to go. Last week we had 16 cautions or something like that. Very different style of track, right? But Kentucky, I think I'm going to go into it more of a mindset like tonight. I did expect a couple of cautions tonight. So
did I.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us and probably a few more. Probably just go out there, kind of monitor the first 5, 10, 15 laps and then make a decision as to how I want to run the race from there.
Fair enough, but with everything left to play for those final 2 steps of the podium, Tom, best of luck to you next week. But before we let you go celebrate this victory here tonight at the Rock, who do you need to thank?
Well, Tony, I was amiss last week because I didn't mention him. A couple of weeks ago, we threw Wheels for Warriors USA on the back of my truck. They are a veteran organization. They partner up with that at-risk veterans returning to civilian life. They put them on a bike. They've got a great program, nonprofit organization registered. Anybody interested in checking them out, w4wusa.org. Head on over there, make a donation, do anything you can to support the veterans. Tony, I want to thank you for doing this. I want to thank Fred and crew for putting the league on. Joey, it was a lot of fun racing with you earlier tonight. And congratulations preemptively to Trevor next week. Sounds like he's going to have it locked up after this evening.
All he's got to do is show up next week.
So there you go. I guess that's a pretty good spot to be in then.
Absolutely. But we do have that logo up on the screen right now. If somebody wants to make a donation, www.w4wusa.org. Great cause. You know, I'm always for, America's veterans. I was personally myself. I'm allergic to high velocity lead poisoning, so I didn't volunteer. But I have a lot of friends from school who did. We've got two of our very own, the two owners of Sim Racing Media, Jonathan Leach, currently active Air Force, James Riles, United States Army Corps of Engineers. So anything to help America's veterans, I am 100% in favor of. Tom Richter, thank you so much for putting that on your truck. Best of luck to you next week at Kentucky. Please don't go anywhere because I do want to talk to you after we go off the air.
Sounds like a plan, Tony. Thank you very much.
As we are going to take a look now at tonight's finishing order. Tom Richter, Joey Stires, we spoke to those two gentlemen. Larry Stubblefield, unfortunately, is not in the Discord, so we can't talk to him. Brian Toole coming home in fourth. Last truck being scored on the lead lap. Abram Ghostin, one lap down in fifth. James Nelson, Dominic Rossi, Chris Smith, Justin Carey, Trevor Ryan rounding out your top 10, all one lap down. Great recovery drive for Ryan because he was 2 laps down at one point. Tommy Osborne coming home in 11th. Shane Calhoun, Jordan Brockwell, Kyle Payne, Greg Barnett rounding out the top 15. Lane Hosler, Fred Garcia, and Ryan Twinham rounding out those who registered tonight for the race. That is going to do it for us tonight from the Rock. Be sure to join us next week for the season finale, where we do officially crown a champion for season 15 of the CleanRacing.net Truck Series at Kentucky. In the meantime, as you walk down the road of life this week, and until we meet again, folks, do me a huge favor and don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.